like I said, we're going to be saved based on our faith in Yahawashi. Acts chapter 13. We on? Acts chapter 13, verse 37. Further proof, you can't get saved based on no law. So we did the war because why? Your spirit and your flesh gonna constantly keep battling, right? And it was a setup for you to be saved based on the law. Man. That's the whole point of the new covenant. They read as well. Acts chapter 13. Acts chapter 13, verse 37. So let me read Acts chapter 13, verse 37. All right, these are the apostles. I believe it's Barnabas and Simeon and the apostle Paul. Acts chapter 13, verse 37. And they were in what? At Antioch, Syria. It says, according to Yahawashi, for David, after he had served his own generation, by the will of the Most High, fell on sleep and was laid unto his fathers and saw corruption. But he whom the Most High raised again saw no corruption, because after that third day he got raised up. But it is known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins. And by him all that believe, or the Israelites, are justified from all things, from all sins. This is the point for you guys who say it's all about the law. From which he could not be justified by the law of Moses. You can be justified from all things from the law of Moses. Are you crazy? Mary Magdalene, according to the law, was supposed to be put to death right there on the spot. But Yahawashi showed her what? Grace and mercy. That's what grace is, man. Okay? And he all gave us all grace that believe on it. So read it again. But it is known unto you, therefore, brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins. And by him all that believe are justified from all things, from which he could not be justified by the law of Moses. Beware therefore, lest any come unto you which is spoken of in the prophets, man. Okay? So you can be justified by that in the law of Moses, man. So you're justified by all sins. You got to thank the Most High for his son. There was no mercy underneath the law of Moses, man. That's why it says Galatians chapter 3. It says Galatians 3:13. Yahawashi, or they have Christ, hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. He was a sacrifice. For it is written, curses every one that hangeth on a tree. So how is he made a curse for? What's the curse of the law? There's no mercy underneath the law of Moses, man. That's the point. I just read in Acts the 13th chapter, man. Certain laws you got put to death, man. Broke the Sabbath, death. Adultery, death. Matter of fact, witchcraft, which a lot of you Ephraimites are into, idolatry, death, man. Okay? But underneath Yahawashi, you can be forgiven. That's why it says Acts chapter 19. Acts chapter 19. There we go. Acts chapter 19. And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus. And fear fell on them all that the name of the Lord Yahawashi was magnified because of the great works, alright, that the apostles did. And many that believed came and confessed and showed their deeds. Many of them also which used curious arts, witchcraft. And the penalty for being a witch, thou shalt not suffer a witch to writ, Exodus 22:18, is death underneath the law of Moses. But through Yahawashi we're going to read. Many also believed, came and confessed and showed their deeds. Many of them also which used curious arts, witchcraft, brought their books together and burned them before all men, and they counted the price of them, and it was 50,000 pieces of silver. So they had curious arts dealing with witchcraft, which underneath the law of Moses could not be forgiven. Under Yahawashi, we're given a clean slate. It's all about Yahawashi, man. All about Yahawashi, man. Alright? Got any more precepts? So that's how we gonna be saved and delivered. guys are carnal, man. Let me read Acts chapter 15. Stay in the book of Acts. Acts chapter 15, verse 1. It says, and certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. So this was a controversy. Okay? So Paul and Barnabas had to go to Peter for counsel. We're going to read what Peter said. Verse 12. That's like I'm going to read the whole chapter down. I'm gonna read the whole history. I'm not gonna cut no corners. Acts chapter 15, verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. So they weren't being wicked, they were just zealous for the law. But these were Pharisees that believed though in Yahawashi. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas had certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. So they had to counsel. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversation of the Gentiles, and they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And the word came to Jerusalem, they received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and declared all things that the Most High had done with them. They drank some water. Read you some history, man. Read verse 4. And where they come to Jerusalem, they received of the church and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that the Most High had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses. And the apostles and elders came together for to consider this matter. And when they had been much disputing, Peter rose up and said unto them, men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago the Most High had made choice among us, that the Gentiles or the Israelites that were coming back into wishing to who they are. Alright, that's who the Gentiles were, man. The Gentiles, Peter rose up and said unto them, men and brethren, you know how that a good while ago the Most High made choice among us, that the Gentiles by the mouth, I was going to ask you a question. Oh, what question? The book you're reading from, how do you know it's accurate? You mean how many based on a prophecy? How do you know that it's accurate? Based on a prophecy? Because it well, based on the prophecies, I know that the Bible is true. Because when the prophets wrote something and it comes to pass, just like today, it validates what we're saying. Yeah, to make that book. That's exactly. That's how we know God is true. That's how we know that the prophets. Who wrote the Bible? The prophets and the apostles. And they all look like me and you. Okay? That's exactly what validates
could write that. I could write this book again, and in 1,000 years, all the things are going to come to pass because they're always going to come to pass.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
So it's not really a prophecy. It's somebody that knew history. You follow me?
I feel what you're saying.
And then they manipulate it.
Okay, so but this is what I'm saying here though. St. John the Revelator wrote about this 2,000 years ago, a microchip, Revelation the 13th. I'm sure you heard of the mark of the beast.
I got it. Right.
But
They marked Egyptians, marked all workers for different purposes, which still has the same thing. Servitude.
You gotta show me that. Show me that.
It's not in that book.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the Egyptians.
Oh, the Egyptians.
Show me the papyrus that prophesied this.
It's
None.
It's not so
None.
much the
This wasn't even in the thoughts of men. Computer chips. Look at. You know about Babylon, America being destroyed, right? In the Bible.
Right.
Nuclear missiles wasn't even in man's thoughts 2,000 years ago. The industrial era didn't even come to pass.
Nuclear missiles. They
But-
don't
okay.
use those terminologies.
Well, okay, I'm gonna show you.
What they use are things that we know. Weapons.
Of course.
There's always weapons of genocide.
No. But this wasn't in man's thoughts 2,000 years ago. Ezra said that he saw arrows shot to the ends of the world, and it consumed the world with fire. He didn't know anything about a nuclear missile. He's just writing down what he saw, and he's trying to describe it the best way that he can. That's why it says Isaiah 9 and 5. See, this will validate you. You read Isaiah 9 and 5. Isaiah saw the end time. I'm going to read Revelation 2.
But why do you take that literally when that's such metaphor? Why would you take that the weapon is a tangible asset, right? That goes to the Father's will. We know that the greatest weapons are weapons of concrete.
Because I know.
If I make that, somebody else can make something that's not.
Brother, because what I'm saying is this. Common sense tells us no arrow can be shot to the ends of the world and consume the world with fire. So what is
consciousness can though?
No, but what is he talking
The
about?
arrow of
Because
knowledge of consciousness controlling.
No.
You don't believe that?
No, but I'm saying, what is Ezra was seeing things that was happening in the last days. See what I'm saying? Through the angel Uriel. And one of the visions he said, I saw an arrow.
Uber's coming.
Oh, come on, brother, man. How you gonna do that?
Just call me.
Oh, let me read Isaiah 95.
Look, I want you to ponder on something. I already read it, man.
No.
PK kid.
Listen to this one scripture.
Yes.
It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise. Right. When you kill each other, I slash you with a sword, blood go on my garment. Oh, okay, all right. It says, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. The war that's coming is going to be done with what? Nuclear fire, man. So what validates the Bible? Prophecy. That's how we know that it's true. Yeah, we can do comparative studies with because our forefathers was written in the heathen records as well. Like Daniel. Daniel was talked about by the Babylonians. So if you hear it, the flood was talked about through the Chinese have an account of the flood. It's called the family of Fui. All these different civilizations talk about a great flood, just that the Bible gives you the complete understanding of the flood. All right. So yes, it's a book of history, law, statutes, and commandments. And Jake is so mesmerized by the Egyptians. Egypt is just what? You go into the laws and the customs of the ancient Egyptians, man. Okay? Where do you think the Greeks learned their sexual perversion from? The Egyptians, man. Okay? That's what the Most High, when we came out of Egypt, he said, ye shall not do after the manner of the ancient Egyptians, man. Go into the history of, because they have the story of Set, Osiris, can't remember too much, Set, Osiris, and Isis, and Horus. And when you go through the history, it tells you that Set sodomized Horus, man. One of the when you go into their creation stories, the Egyptians, they got three creation stories. One of their creation stories is that Amun, which later on became Amun-Ra, masturbated mankind into existence. And who made Egypt great when you go into the Josephus? Abraham. He taught them basic arithmetic and logic, mathematics, and also Joseph. Because he saved Egypt, which they called Joseph, What was Joseph known as in ancient Egypt? Imhotep. That's what he was known as. What the ancient Egyptians called it. All right. I can't remember his name too much. But let me see if I read the scripture. It may come back to my mind. It may come back. But yeah, it was the Israelites that made Egypt great, man. Let me read. I think it's Genesis 37. Genesis 37. Oh, here we go. It was Imhotep. Okay, because they said they both saved Egypt from famine. When you compare them, I think they both died at the age of 112. They both were physicians. They both were good in astrology. They both saved Egypt from famine. They both were second to the Pharaoh. They both were interpreter of dreams, man. It was the Israelites that made Egypt great. And Imhotep too, when you go into the history, he was also the designer of the step pyramid. And we know that to be true because the Mexicans got pyramids. The biggest pyramid in the world is in Cholula, Mexico, man. How did the Mexicans, the Aztecs, know how to build pyramids? Because they were also back there doing the same thing in Egypt. When they came on this side of the world, they carried the same customs, man. All right? And like I said, go into the ways of the ancient. And there's no Egyptian papyrus or writing that says you Negroes came over here in slavery, man. Okay? Egypt was no different than any other empire. They rose and they fell. So, like I told that guy, what validates the Holy Scriptures is the prophecies, man. That always validated the Bible, man. It's prophecies, man. So, let me read it. See? I guess I'm gonna close with that. Yeah, you Negroes always talking about this Egypt. See, I wanted to pull the script, but he left. See, every time, but you know what? The truth wasn't for him. The truth wasn't for him. There's a scripture on that, Luke chapter 8, verse 31. Computer chips, nuclear missiles, that wasn't even in man's thoughts 2,000 years ago. Man had no clue about any of those things. Only a higher power could show you those things, man. That's how the Most High is justified, by His word. You see, as soon as I went to drop the scripture, he said, my Uber's coming. The Lord didn't want him to get it. That's what it says, Luke chapter 8, verse 31. It says, Luke 9. Luke chapter 8, verse 11. Now this is the parable. The seed is the word of the Most High. Those by the wayside are they that hear. So he heard the word. Then cometh the devil, which was in the form of his Uber, and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved. So if he studied it long enough, we would have convinced them why the Bible is true. How the Bible is true is based on the prophecies. But above all, the Most High didn't want him to get it. He blinded him, man, from seeing this knowledge, man. Right? So everything happens at a given time, and we don't get mad. You know what I mean? It just wasn't meant to be. Alright? But through Yahawashi, like I was saying earlier, that's how we gonna be saved, man. And he ushered in the new covenant. And I'm gonna read it. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. And I guess we'll close on this. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 6. For now we have attained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is a mediator of a better covenant. Okay? Which was established on better promises. The old covenant was the law written on stone because it represented Israel's stony heart. This time he's going to give us a fleshly heart. Marie. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then it shall be no have been place. There should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, the Israelites, he said, behold, the days come. It's Jeremiah 31 as well. 31, 33. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, the northern and the southern kingdom. Your Negro tribes and your Hispanic and your Native Americans, man. He's going to make a better covenant with you, okay? It didn't say the white man and the other nations. It does not say that, man. Okay? So I don't know what you guys talking about salvation for everybody, right? The Christian world doctrine. We'll read that again. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord. I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers, the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they should be to me a people. So he's going to put the law. This time he's going to program all Israel, starting with the elect or the first fruits. Okay? I guess I can read one more. We're going to close this out. Oh, Brody, how about Shimmy Al-Shah? See? You heard the word, you want to hear it, you're going to be judged, man. Ezekiel 36, verse 21. For I had pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel hath profaned among the heathen, whether they went. And you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you have profaned the Lord's name in the midst of these heathens, man. Alright? That's why they look down on y'all, man. Because the way y'all carry yourselves. Don't carry yourselves as a holy people, man. Verse 22. Therefore saith the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord power, I do this not for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, because he made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Okay? That he'll bless us, man, and give us that kingdom, man. We'll be at peace from our enemies, man. That's a promise. Starting with Abraham. Say, which he hath profaned among the heathen whither he went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which he hath profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord. These other nations going to know that Yahawah Shimei Al-Shah is the Lord, man. Saith the Lord power, and I will sanctify in you before their eyes. So he's going to clean us up in front of them. How? For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries wherever we scattered, and will bring you into your own land, the land of Jerusalem. Alright? Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, which is the new covenant. And he shall be made clean from all your filthiness and from all your idols, and I will cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away you the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. Man. Take away that stony heart and give us a heart of flesh, one that can receive the law, statutes, and commandments. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And that's the new covenant. And Yahawashi had to establish it. He was the mediator of a better covenant with better promises. So Lord willing, we endure, and we can see that, man. And, be a part of the Lord's elect, man. Because that's who's going to start with first. That I'm going to say, giving all praise, Yahawah Shimi Al-Shah. Double honors to the elders, honors to the Aki. Peace and blessings to the brothers that's out there, brothers and sisters. You know, the believers in Yahawashi, and definite instruction to everything else. That I'm going to say, Shalom.